Hey YouTube, how's it going? Welcome to a FileMaker beginner tutorial. Today's topic is find and sort, and we are going to go over three things. First, why finding and sorting is important in FileMaker, and how does it affect you. Second, we're going to learn about how to use the built-in features within FileMaker to perform a find and sort. And thirdly, we're going to automate our find and sort process with buttons and scripts. Don't worry, you don't need too much programming ability to follow the third part. So let's get started. So why is it important to learn about finding and sorting? Well, that's because firstly, finding and sorting, it's the fundamental of any sort of database. And in any sort of database, you're trying to manipulate the data so that it can assist you in some way. So maybe you want to find a certain data set and group them in a very neat format to create a report for you to make a certain decision. Or you might want to automate a certain process based on the data you were given. So we can see here that finding and sorting is very important, and that's why I want to start this beginner tutorial series with this part first. So let's start by looking into how to use the built-in find and sort function in FileMaker. By the way, in case you're wondering, this exercise file, you can download it in my website in the link down below, and it's not mandatory for you to follow along this tutorial, but if you do, it will help you out tremendously. So let's get started. So in here, we have 4 different criteria for our database. So first name, last name, gender, and age. And we want to start by, let's say, search for people who are female. So to do that, we need to go into the find mode. So right now, the mode that we are using is called the browse mode, which is where we do the data entry, adding a tags, minusing a tags. And there's another mode called find mode, which we can use by clicking here. Once we click on the find button, we will notice that all the records disappear and we got some magnifying glass icon in the fields. So that indicates to you that you are now in find mode and you can type in the search query that you want to search for. So in here, we will start by searching the gender field. So click on gender, type female. And to submit the find query, we press enter. So right now, we can see that we have successfully searched all the people who are female within this database, and there are 274 of them. So that's step 1. And the next step, I'm going to show you how to search by number. So we're going to go to find again. Note that you can press the find button on the top menu bar, or you can press Ctrl F as a hotkey to get into this mode. So back to it, we are now going to search for the age. So let's say we want to search by people who are 30 years old, and let's see what happens. Press enter. Right now we have 17 records that are found, and they are 30 years old. You can see it in here, but maybe that's still too simple. We want to spice things up a little bit. Let's say we want to search for people who are between a certain range. How do we do it? So it might confuse a lot of people, but because you can't do like between 20 to 30, FileMaker doesn't recognize that. If you press enter, they will give you a prompt and tell you that it's not finding the result that you want. So we want to modify this a little bit. We want to try using it like this: 20 triple dot 30, enter. And right now, all our records are between 20 and 30 years old. And so the triple dot is basically telling FileMaker that you are searching for a range of number. And it's pretty self-explanatory. And let's say you want to search for people who are over 40 years old. 40 ... in this case, it will search for people who are 40 or more, and you don't need to write a maximum number on the right side, so that you can see in here we have all the records in the database that are over 40 years old. Okay, now that we covered the basic, let's start getting a little bit more in depth. So we want to try to search by multiple criteria. So what we can do is that we can, let's say we can do search by female who are between 30 to 40. So we can type 2 criteria inside this found set list, and when we press enter, then we will have new sets of record that are female between that age range. And so right now we are only able to see find in like a one-dimension way. We can only search by one query. What happens if we want to search by 2 different queries at the same time? So let's say I want to search for male who are 30 years old and female that are 40 years old. How do we do that? And so first, let's create one for female that are in the age of let's do 39 to 40 to make sure we have a record. To do another query within the same result, we can press the new record button on top. So if you're inside file mode and if you're clicking on the new request, then it tells FileMaker that you're searching for 2 different criteria at the same time. So in this second line that's created here, we type in a male that are let's say 20 to 21 and see what happens. Right now we are able to see that we have found the record that are male between 20 to 21 and female between 39 to 40 years old. So this is quite good. And the next part, we are going to move forward to showing you how to use the sort function. So as you can see in here right now, my found set is a little bit messy. There are 2 different criteria that are written just now, and the data are all over the place, and it's not the best condition to be working on, no matter what the workflow you're in. So the next step, we are going to sort these records. We want to sort them by let's say gender first, so that it looks a bit neater. So to sort, we can click on the sort button here. So assuming you're brand new to the file, it should be nothing on this side here. And if you click onto the age here, oh wait, we're going to sort by gender first. If we sort by double click on gender, we notice that under the sort order column, we have a gender here, and it's right now. If we click onto it, it's from lowest to highest. And to change this, we can click onto gender here, highlight it, and then change descending order or ascending order, or a custom order based on what you input, but that's a little bit more advanced, and we will talk about that in a future tutorial. So right now I want to search gender by ascending order, and once I complete, click sort. And you can see that right now my record is first sorted by female and then sort by male. So right now it's much easier for us to look at this data because it's easier to make sense of what is happening. And the next step, we want a compound sorting. We want to first sort by the gender and then let's say by the age. So we're going to go to sort again. We can click on the sort button, or if you want to learn the hotkey, is Control S for sort. We click onto it, this dialog box appears again, and we are going to add an additional criteria on it. So we're going to add age. So once we add it, it's from smallest to largest, so the youngest people first and then the oldest people. And when we click sort, you will notice that it first sort the record by female, and then based on that, it search for the lowest number first to the highest number. Similarly with the male. So using this sorting and finding method, we are open to a lot of possibilities to manage data more efficiently, and allows you to create reports that way. And so it's really important for us to really learn this part. And now that we know how to use the built-in function to find and sort, we're going to move on to the last sections of this tutorial, how to do that with a button and a script and automated process. So to start with the button, we are going to be making a very simple find and sort script that imitate what we did just now. So what we're going to do is a maybe a simple find script that when you click a button, it automatically find all the male or the female. So how do we do this? First, we're going to have to create a button somewhere on top here. So we can, to create a button, we will have to go to the layout mode. And the layout mode is similar to find mode. It's a different mode within the FileMaker. And the layout mode is where you make all the changes within the layout. You can access this mode by going to the top here, View, Layout Mode, or pressing Ctrl L. So once we're in the layout mode, you will notice the look is sort of different. You can move things around. Things that are not usually movable is now movable. We want to create two buttons. So let's click onto the top bar here. This is how we create a button. Click onto this, and then we drag and create one button. So let's name this button Find Male. Okay, so right now we have a button here. And let's test this button out in the browse mode again. Go back to View, click Browse Mode. We are inside the mode again, how we work on the data. So if I click on Find Male right now, nothing happens. Why? Because we have not set up anything. We have not set up the command for this button to do whatever we need it to do. So how do we make it so that this button do what we tells them? So we are going to go back to layout mode first, and we are going to double click on Find Male. And it seems to be not working. Okay. Right now, in here, when we double click onto the button, there will be a little dialog box appear here and shows you like how you can play with this button. You can add an icon on the right side, left side, or just showing the icon. You can click different ones that you want to see, but that's not what we want to do right now. We want to go to action here and click onto it and perform a single script. So this is so in a perform a single script, you can only perform one step. So what do I mean by one step? So in FileMaker, there's a lot of different preset script that we can use. So right now we are trying to find all the male. So we are looking for the perform find function. And if you're going to find it in the list on the right side, it should be in record. Oh wait, it should be in found set and perform find. You can double click onto this to bring it to this line here, or if you are familiar with the development environment, start typing in name, PERFORM, and then there will be suggestions popping out here that helps you access these functions much faster. So once we create the perform find, we need to specify the criterias. We are going to click onto this blue gear-like box thing, and then we're going to specify find request. Once we click this, a dialog box pops up here, and right now it already saved it our existing finding criteria because FileMaker is quite smart and try to save some of your time. But we want to learn how to do this from scratch, so we are going to delete everything and then press on to the new here. So basically what this does is like creating a new search query, and when you click onto this, a find request dialog box appear, and we want to let's say search by gender. We highlight gender, click equals male, and we click add. Right now it has created a specific criteria called gender, and we have to find all the male record. Once we do that, we click OK, click OK again, and we click OK once more. Right now this button is set and it will automatically helps you find the male record. So if we click on Control B or go back to browse mode by clicking View, browse mode, right now this button is now clickable. So what happens when we click onto it? When we click onto this, it automatically finds all the male. So I'm pretty sure you can see right now that we are starting to automate our process, and it helps smoothen whatever you need to do with this list much faster. And okay, so move on to something deeper. And then we want to find, right now it's finding every single male, but we want to find male who are between 21 years old to 25 years old. So we go back to layout mode, double click onto this, and then do a go back to our perform find script here, and then click onto the gearbox, specify. We're going to add a second criteria. So in here, we're going to add in the age. We're going to highlight age, and then just like what we did previously, we want to type in 20.25. So it search for male between 20 to 25 years old. Did I say 21 just now? But anyways, okay, so 20 to 25. We press add, and it's added. And in this case, we don't need to add the enter, or in fact for the top part, we don't need to write the enter as well, and it will still work. It's just better in a programming sense, but you don't really need to know why at this stage, but you don't need to type enter in here. And then you press, right now we added a new criteria, and we press OK, and we are now able to press OK two more times again, go back to browse mode, and click onto this button again. And this time we have a much shorter list, 22 records only, but it's all male within 20 to 25 years old. So this is the first step in making buttons that can automate your workflow for you. And what happens is that after you search, you might want to sort the list so that it's organized by age from smallest to largest. So how do we do that? To do that, we can go back to layout mode, Control L, and click onto this button here. And right now, we are using a single step, so we can only do one step. But to find and then sort, we will need additional step. So we have to convert it to a script. So once we click this, let's call this find male and sort by age. Once you create this, you see that the space opens up a little bit, and I can create multiple records in here. I mean multiple lines of functions. So what this does is that FileMaker will do this function in sequence. So first it would do a perform find, and then it would do it 4 more times, because right now I'm trolling around in this area. but let's delete this. The second script that we're looking for is the sort script. You can access it by SORT, sort record. Click onto this. Or if you're looking from the menu on the right side, click on records. And then I got it wrong again. It's also in the found set. Okay, it's in the found set, and then it's in sort record here. And there are a lot of other different functions in here that you can look around, but right now we're going to focus on this part. So to sort the record, we are going to click on this gearbox here, press specify, and then just like what we do in the menu built-in way, we are going to first sort by gender. Well, it's all male, so nothing will be sorted. So let's delete this part. Sort by the age from smallest to largest. And then we are going to click save. And right now you can see that we have created a script called find male and sort by age. You can access to this script by clicking to script workspace, and here your script is here, and in the future you can create and edit script within this area. So we're going to go to browse mode again. We click on find male. This time it asks you if you want to sort it by age, and you click sort, and you notice that right now it's searched by all male and automatically sort everything by the age from the smallest to largest. And there are one more thing I want to fine tune. Right now when I click onto, when I show all everything and I click onto this, it is asking me if I want to sort by this criteria that I have set, but I don't want this dialog box to show up because it's, if I have to click it 2 times, it's not really an automation. Okay, so what I want to do, how do I get rid of this dialog box to pop up? So I'm going to go to script workspace, here, script, and then go to this space here, click onto the script that I just created, and then we are going to modify the second line. Right now, if we hover over this line and go to here, this part, there is a item here called with dialog. It's on right now. We turn this to off, so that basically means that FileMaker will no longer ask you if you want to sort by that specific order. So it speeds up the sports process a lot quicker. And once we did the change, we need to save this. This star here means that we haven't saved this yet. And to save, we click on File and click on Save Script. We save this, minimize this, and then we try to click on this button again. Oh, that shows everything at first. Shows everything, female, male, of all age. And I click onto male. And right now, without saying a word, it automatically finds all male within that certain age and sort them by the age from smallest to largest. So that's it for this tutorial. If you like what you saw, I would really appreciate it if you can give me a like button. And if you want to see more FileMaker beginner content, you can subscribe to my channel or check out my website www.fmbeginner.com. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.